Today, we're talking about one of nature's most perfect inventions. Seriously, it's a masterpiece of design. So efficient, it's pretty much the ultimate survival pod. Yep, we're talking about seeds. Okay, let me ask you this. What if you could take an entire life, a whole miniature organism, plus its own packed lunch, and fit it all into a tiny little box? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, doesn't it? Well, guess what? Nature beat us to it, and by millions of years. This incredible little package, it's called a seed. And it is, without a doubt, the ultimate survival pod. So, to really get how this all works, we've got to look at the blueprint. And it turns out there are two main master plans that most plants out there follow. But hang on, let's back up. What is a seed exactly? Well, technically, it's a fertilized mature ovule, but think of it like this. It's got three crucial parts. You've got the embryo, which is the tiny baby plant itself, a food supply, kind of like a built-in pantry, and a tough outer coat for protection. It's a complete, self-contained starter kit for life. All right, let's check out those two master plans. Now, these diagrams look pretty detailed, I know, but let's just focus on the big idea. On your left, we have the dicot plan, and we're looking at a bean seed. And on the right, you've got the monocot plan, which we can see in a grain of maize. They might look a little different, sure, but they are both absolutely brilliant designs for getting a new plant started. Okay, let's break down what makes them different. The biggest thing you'll notice is the number of cotyledons. Those are the seed leaves. Beans, being dicots, have 2. Maize, a monocot, has just 1. And that changes where they store their food. The bean packs its food right into those 2 fleshy cotyledons. But the maize, it uses a whole separate tissue called the endosperm. Even the little details, like the size of the future shoot or plumule, all point to 2 totally different but equally successful strategies for life. So a seed can just wait, sometimes for a really long time. But what wakes it up? What gets it going? It's not magic, not at all. It's a set of 3 secret codes from the environment that basically trigger the start of a brand new life. And here they are, the 3 magic keys: water, warmth, and oxygen. First, the seed has to soak up water. It just drinks and drinks until it swells up and bursts right through its protective coat. Then you need the right temperature, some warmth, to get all the internal chemistry and enzymes fired up. And finally, it needs oxygen to breathe. Yep, it breathes. It's a process called respiration, and that's what generates the massive amount of energy it needs to start growing. And you know, the proof for this is so simple and elegant. Look at this classic experiment. Seeds on wet cotton wool, they germinate, but the ones on the dry cotton wool, nothing. It's the perfect demonstration that without water, the journey just can't begin. All right, let's move on to the second key, warmth. So you take 2 beakers, both with moist seeds. You'll leave one out at a nice, comfy room temperature, and bam, it sprouts. But the other one, you stick that in the refrigerator, and nothing happens. The cold just keeps all those growth enzymes on pause. And for our final key, oxygen. In this setup, both flasks have water and both have warmth. But see the one on the right? It's got a chemical in there that's specifically designed to suck all the oxygen out of the air. The result? It couldn't be clearer. The seeds with oxygen are thriving, but the others, they can't germinate. You absolutely need all 3 keys. So once all 3 conditions are perfect, the mission begins. It's this epic, great escape from the seed coat, and then a race upwards towards the sunlight. And the very first thing to emerge is the radicle. This little guy is going to become the root. Its #1 job is to anchor this fragile seedling into the soil and immediately start absorbing water and nutrients. It's literally the foundation for everything else that's about to happen. Once it's anchored, the plumule, that's the embryonic shoot, begins its incredible journey. It has to push against the soil, fighting its way up into the open air so it can finally unfold its first leaves and start soaking up that sun. But how that shoot breaks through the ground, well, that reveals another totally fascinating difference in strategy. A new life begins, and it turns out plants have 2 main ways of making their grand entrance. And really, it's all in the names: epigeel and hypogeel. Epi means above, and geo means earth. So in epigeel germination, the cotyledons get carried above the ground. And hypo means below, so you guessed it, in hypogeel germination, the cotyledons stay below the surface. So let's see what that actually looks like. The bean, over on the left, it's epigeel. It forms this cool little hook that literally drags its cotyledons, its packed lunch, right out of the soil with it.
But the maize, on the right, does the total opposite. It leaves its lunchbox safely underground while the shoot just pushes straight on up. Two different methods, same goal.
Now, the survival power of this whole design is just staggering. We're not talking about waiting around for a few weeks or a few months. Some seeds can stay dormant, totally alive and viable, for over 100 years. How is that even possible? Well, it's basically a state of suspended animation. That tough outer coat protects it, and its internal metabolism slows down to almost nothing, just waiting for that one perfect moment to spring to life. But just when you think you've got all the rules figured out, nature just loves to show you an exception. Check this out. This is viviparous germination in mangroves. These seeds don't even wait to hit the ground. They start germinating while they're still attached to the parent plant. It gives them a huge head start in a really tough environment. I mean, how incredible is that? So in the end, whether it's destined to become a single blade of grass or a giant ancient tree, the whole incredible journey is locked inside this tiny, perfect package. It really makes you wonder, what other perfect blueprints is nature hiding right out in plain sight?